Okay, so we're going to do what we normally do, which is start seated, and I'll invite you to try to orient your mat in kind of a diagonal so that your feet aren't straight towards me and you're not directly side of me either, and it gives you an opportunity to see what I'm doing without feeling like you're twisting your neck from different positions. So we're going to go ahead and begin seated tall on the glutes. Should feel those sitting bones right in the center of those glutes. The legs are freely resting in line with your hips, and your feet are heels on the floor, toes not. Now you don't have to flex your toes back, but your feet are a little farther away from you than flat on the floor. Okay? Should still be able to sit nice and tall. I'm going to ask you to just reach your arms out for me. Now you're going to use your arms for counterbalance, and we'll take a big breath in, and as you're exhaling, just reach your fingers towards your feet while pulling your belly towards the mat. And your legs are going to straighten out a little bit, and then we're going to come back up. Now we'll open and close the arms with this, so we're going to breathe in to prepare ourselves, breathe out, scoot back, inhale, and open the arms. Now if you had a set of hand weights, you could add that here. And if you want to let me know before the end of class, just in the chat, if you have hand weights available, nothing heavy, probably like 3 pounds, or a couple of cans of green beans or something like that, we can integrate a little weighted work as we progress in class together. So we're going to do this 3 more times and 2 more times. And we're going to make life a little more exciting. On the next one, I'm going to have you stay back for me. So stay back and let your hands come in like you're doing a bicep curl. And you should notice that it makes your core work harder to do this, bringing the arms closer to, because now they are no longer counterbalancing you, but actually challenging you. Okay? And we're going to go 3 more times, 2 more times, 1 more time. You're going to hold your fingertips directly to the ceiling with the arms up. Bring the elbows down right next to the rib cage. We're going 8 more. Use your breath. 6, come out of it a little bit if you need to. 5, 4, 3, there's 1 more challenge for you. 2, hold the arms here. Open out a little bit. Oh my gosh, open and close in. Open out, breathing in and close. And only open as far as you can hold it. You should start to feel your abs really working for me here. Give me 3 more. And 2 more. Oh, 1 more time. And we're coming up. We're reaching the hands back. Lifting the chest. Slide the legs long. Give them a little shake. Walk your feet to the outside edges of the mat. If you've got a mat or wider than your shoulders, well, hello, cat. And we're going to rock from side to side. And then instead of fingers facing back, go ahead and turn them to the sides of the room and let your elbows be soft. We're just kind of releasing the hips. We'll go about 4 more times. And 3, 2, and 1. All right, walking those legs out. We're going to grab the backs of the thighs and bring those legs in. And scoop the belly. Let your elbows fall towards the floor. Let your forehead fall towards your knees. They don't have to touch. So you're not squishing everything up. You're leaving room for a tiny ball, a child's play ball in there. And then we're just going to open the space between the shoulder blades. Lengthen up, breathing in. Open the collarbones wide. Lift your heels. Breathe out. Okay, you're not quite as scooped as you were. We're going to find our balance in this position. And see if we can bring those shins to that tabletop position. Arms can be here or here. You're always welcome to hold on to those legs for a little extra support. We are going to reach the feet 1 at a time to the mat. Reaching the toes down. They don't have to touch the mat, but they can. And you're just reaching those toes down and exhaling up. Now, if you're feeling spunky and you want to make it a little more dynamic, you can bring your heel to the floor. And that's just a little farther to travel, so the heaviness of the leg is really taxing the abdominal wall. And then there's still 1 more challenge from either toes reaching or heels reaching. You're going to alternately pass. Oh, I lied. There's still 1 more challenge. So whichever thing you're doing, the opposite arm comes up towards the ceiling. And 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, 1 more time. We're rolling all the way back. Open those arms up. Take a nice big breath in. Exhale, slide the hands under the head. And when you do that, see if you can avoid interlacing, but let one hand rest inside of the other. Elbows fall wide. So you're gazing towards your knees. And I first want you to notice the top of the body. So your elbows do not have to touch the floor. For most people to get their elbows all the way down, the rib cage has to sort of lift away from the mat. And that's basically how the body works. You got to have some give to get some take. And so I'm looking for a happy balance. Let your elbows be comfortably wide. Let your rib cage be relaxed on the mat and not forced down. Okay, we want to feel like we can hang out here and just watch the clouds float by, but we're not going to. We're going to work. So gazing towards those knees, you're going to exhale, roll the head and shoulders up, looking right at the knees. And then if you feel like you're up for it, you're going to reach a little farther past the legs, bring the hands back and lower down. So we inhale, get ready. Exhale, roll up, reach, inhale and go. Up, reach, inhale and go. You know there's more coming. So this is option A. You can always keep the hands. This is really option A. This is option B. Option C is to add one leg to that tabletop position. Lift, up, and down. Exhale, and inhale. Exhale. All right, give me just 2 more. And 1 more. Now we're going to come up, stay up. Your shoulders are on the floor, but you're up a little bit higher looking at the knees. And when I say shoulders are on the floor, I'm talking about the bottom of the shoulder blade. So we're going to lift one leg, and then we're going to rotate and extend that other leg, and we will switch, and switch, and switch, and switch, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 last time. Relax. All right, we're going to take those legs and make a little circular motion with the pelvis. So feel as though your hands are where it's most comfortable, both for your knees and your arms, so you're not creating tension in the neck. We're rocking over to one hip and then down towards the tailbone, over to the other hip. And while you're in the side and down positions, your back is not straining. So make sure you feel like you're in control. Come up and you're right on the sacrum. You can see my tail is a little curled away from the floor, but I'm not way back here. And then I'm going to reverse it. So hip, tail, hip, sacrum, other side. So I mentioned that it was a Grandmaster Flash Sugar Hill kind of morning because whenever I think hip, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I won't rap for you because, well, it's not my finest moment, but. So we're going hip, not hip, hop, okay? When you get to the top, you don't stop. No, just kidding. Bring your legs up. We're going to make a circle with the legs extended. Pause and reverse. Inhale over and exhale up. Now, because your legs are extended, and of course we know they are the heaviest bones and muscles in the body and the pelvis and the legs, you're going to maybe bend the knees a little, ease up on those hamstrings if they're not feeling super flexy today, and then also make the range of motion smaller. And if you feel effort, but you're like, yeah, I can handle a little more, you can always grow into it. So listen to your body. We're going to go 1 more time each side. Now, if you're even on your 2 sides, just pause at the top, hug your knees into your chest. If not, finish it off, and then do that, hugging those knees down into the chest. All right, so from here, we're going to bring the hands back behind the thighs, reach the legs up, and you're looking right at your feet. Knees are as bent as they need to be. We're going to ever so slightly flex those toes back, and it shouldn't be uncomfortable. So it's just a little flex. You don't have to go crazy. If you need to hold those thighs for a little extra support, your legs might be very long, I don't know. You're going to open and close the knees. Heels stay together. And I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm doing, because it's important to know what I'm asking. You're kind of making this little diamond shape with your legs. Okay, again, you can hold them. And you're doing a little external rotation so the head of the femur is rolling in the socket. And you should get to a point where you feel like, okay, that's what I got. And when you get to that point, your feet are kind of in a V shape, the letter V, as in victory. We're going to hold this next one open. And right from that open position, you're going to reach your arms up. Now your arms are going to reach out, and as your arms reach out, we're going to follow them up with the head. So we exhale, look through the legs, inhale, come back. If it's available to you, you'll straighten the legs and slightly dip them down and bring them back in. Now that's a lot of coordination, so make sure you're clear on what I'm doing and decide how much of what I'm doing you want to do. So maybe you like keeping your head down. It bothers your neck to lift without the hands supporting the head. Maybe you want to just lengthen and bend as much as you can, staying in sort of the same plane of movement. Or maybe you got the whole thing. And you're going to choose, and then you're going to use your breath. So we want to exhale and inhale, or vice versa. It's okay to breathe your own way, but try to find a rhythmic, useful breath that allows you to execute the movement with control. We're going to go one more time. We're going to hold it up, okay? From this up position, we're going to reach the legs down a little, up a little. Your hands could be behind your head. You're working very hard here. 4 more, and 3 more. You could combine this, 2 more. 1 more. Now we're going to do an exercise that requires a good deal of flexibility, but we can totally fake it, because I know how to make that happen. Relax your ankles, grab one thigh, let the other leg go long, and then switch. Breathe in, breathe out. If you're able to grab your calf, go ahead and grab it. The lower the leg goes, the more demanding this becomes on, it's your whole abdominal muscle, or the whole abdominal wall, but you'll feel it more in one area. So you could bend these knees as much as you need to, and or you could keep the legs straight and get a little hamstring flexibility as a side dish to your abs. Let's go ahead and make this next one relaxed, and we hug those legs in. Let the legs open, hold the thighs, and let's circle the ankles. Pause and reverse that rotation for me. Good. Fold those legs again. They're right on that tabletop alignment, knees over hips. Okay? We're going to rock the legs side to side. Arms are open wide, palms up to the ceiling. Rock as far as you can without your shoulders lifting. You feel pretty secure there, and then you maybe add the stretch of the legs. Inhale over, exhale, extend the legs. The extension of the legs, always optional. As a middle ground, you could extend just the top leg, keeping the bottom leg in for support. So you have 3 versions: rock, no extension, rock, extending the top leg, rock, whole ball of wax. And we go 4 more times. 3. Now, if I go too far, I really start to feel like my shoulder wants to jump off the mat, and that creates a lot of tension at the side of the neck. So we want to avoid that. We want to be really feeling very firmly controlled in the upper spine. Let's walk the feet down. Have the hands next to the hips, open the shoulders wide, feel the collarbones broaden, feel the space between your earlobes and the top of the upper track. And then we're just going to do a nice neutral bridge. So the arms reach long, always a little bit different than a yoga bridge. We're not coming up high on our shoulders. We're coming up just to the shoulder blades. And we really could hang out here. Yes, it is effort, and we are going to do a lot of variation on the theme with this, but I want you to just feel like you're trying to unfold the front of the hip, and then you're going to refold the front of the hip. Exhale, lift, and inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. 4 more here. Try to feel like those thighs stay like 2 train tracks, parallel to one another. They don't open and close. And 2 more. So when you do this neutral bridge, we're going to hold this one up for a moment. I want you to feel like the bottom of your rib cage makes a straight line to the top of the knee as much as possible. Not straining at the back of the waist or the knees or the neck, anything at all, but your glutes and your thighs are working. They're the mobilizers. At the moment, they're stabilizing you, but they're active. And your core is stabilizing the whole time as well. So we want to release the hips and let that rest. And then squeeze the legs together. Now that's an option. You can keep your legs sit bone distance apart, or you can bring them all the way together. If you bring them all the way together, I want you to keep them pressing towards one another, almost like hands in prayer position. Press it all in. Take a breath. Exhale. Unfold the hip. Refold the hip. Now you're going to notice almost immediately how much harder it is to lift in this position. And if you cannot keep your legs together, then go ahead and let them be sitting bone distance apart. This doesn't work for everybody, and that's one thing that I really like to emphasize about exercise is there is a version of every exercise for you. It doesn't have to be one size fits all because it's just not the way our bodies work. We got a lot of the same capacity, a lot of the same tools, and then there's a little variance that we figure out on ourselves and apply what we can do to that given situation. Let's go ahead and hold up. Sounds like a life lesson, right? And we're going to slightly lift the toes away from the heels, drop the hips, and lift the hips. So when I teach my classes, I like you to feel like you can be an individual in a group, and certainly the circumstances that we're dealing with lend themselves to that notion more so than ever. So I'm looking at that as a positive because you're not in a room full of other people, and so you don't have that, oh, I need to be doing it like that or that type of mentality. And this is a fantastic opportunity for you to connect with yourself in movement, in breath, and figure out what makes sense for you as far as accommodation and challenge. Let's go ahead and hold here. You're going to ever so slightly lift the toes. They don't have to come off the floor. You can kind of shift the weight into the heels. And we're going to press up, drop down. A little higher up, halfway down. A little higher up, halfway down. I'm not even joking. Right now my glutes are on fire and my hips are working hard. I'm going to give them a rest in a second. So you're going to just release the toes, roll down through the spine, stretch the legs long, and reach your arms back. And let your back lift slightly, but try not to just sort of collapse into the lower back. Okay? Arms can be extended over the head if that's available to you. Widen the arms if you need to for shoulder comfort. We're going to take the hands all the way down next to the hips. We'll bend the leg furthest from me, and we're going to take a breath in and exhale, lift that leg about even with the opposite thigh, okay? A little ankle mobility if you can. We're going to flex the foot down and point the toes up. Flex the foot down and point the toes up. Now, if that kind of distracts you from keeping your back from lifting and lowering, then just let your ankle relax and really think about, okay, it does feel like your back starts to move towards and away from the mat, but it should be very minimal. You should feel like you're controlling the size it could be with your core awareness and your breath and engaging the abdominals to help with that. Okay, we go one more time. Now we're going to take that leg and flex the leg in, draw that foot next to the opposite foot, and reach that leg out again. Your thighs are right next to each other. So let's point on the way in, tabletop shin, flex on the way out, thighs even with one another. We're breathing in, we're breathing out. Now we're going to bring the hands behind the head, and we're not going to turn towards the leg. We're going to lift the nose to the inside of the knee. And when I say inside the knee, you're just pointed in that direction. So we're not twisting here. And then we're going to tap the shoulder back. Eyes stay right on the toes. And flex. And reach. And flex. And reach. And 5. Use your breath. Exhale. 7. Here comes number 8. 8. And relax. Again, with just the one leg, reach, let your back lift, but be in control. Hug that top thigh into your chest. Should feel a little bit of open release at the front of the hip. We're going to circle the top ankle. Shoulders fall wide. Reverse the circle, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Taking your opposite hand and using that hand to guide the leg over. And I'm putting my elbow down on the floor and I'm just supporting this. Now, if your foot can get to the floor, that's always fine. And we roll on back. We're going to put that foot down and have the first foot join. And then the second leg will extend. Okay? This time I want you to go ahead and start with hands on belly so you can really feel what's happening. There should be some tensing that happens below the palms, but not aggressively forcing the back down. So allow yourself to breathe in deeply and fully. Exhale, lift that leg even with the opposite thigh. Inhale, lower it down. Focus entirely on breath and abdominals right now. If that's feeling really good, if you're feeling very solid, like, yeah, I got this. Then you can add that flexing and pointing of the toe. And you're lifting your leg. You should be able to see when you're about even with the opposite thigh. And as you're lowering, you should feel where you need to stop, because if you go too far, it feels like your back wants to arch. So really using that awareness of core contraction, breath, and how your spine is moving. And then we add the lift. In and out. In and out. Nose comes towards the inside of the thigh, not past. So coming straight up. If you want to make it a little more challenging, you can lower that leg just a tiny bit. I'm going to give you 4 more. And 3 more. 2 more times. All right, here's that last one. And we're going to hug the top thigh in, taking that little stretch. Circling the ankle and reversing the circle. Holding that thigh with the hand, letting the elbow hit the floor for a nice supported spine twist. If that foot feels like it's just hanging out nowhere, you can't quite get it to the floor, put it on the inside of the lower leg. All right, we're going to come center. We're going to rock ourselves to a seated position, and we're going to bring our feet flat to the floor, completely flat, so the whole foot is on the floor. The hands are going to be fingertips facing the sides of the room, and they're not so far behind you that you feel your shoulders have to sort of roll forward. So walk them in. You're going to press through those hands. The fingers are on the floor. Exhale and just lift your hips. You're looking straight out over your knees, and you're making sure those legs are not separating or squashing in. And then we're going to fold at the hip. So it's the same thing we did in a bridge position, which is your alternative if this is not working on your wrists, shoulders, elbows. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 3 more times. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 1 more time. Oh, no, 2 more times. I can count. And here we go. Last one. Good. Now let your elbows sink in towards your rib cage. So I'm going to show you from this position because it's kind of an odd idea. We're here, and we just kind of bend the elbows in, and they're hugging right around the sides of the rib cage. And they're kind of bracing your upper body so that you can walk your feet out and lift one leg and then the other leg. Now this might be your exercise, and if your shoulders are getting funny, you can walk your hands further out, but try to keep your elbows a little bit soft and you could come here. Okay, the drawback to this position in my mind is that a lot of the time it's sort of like the turtle ducking back down into its shell. So stay out of the shell, and you can use your forearms for balance here. Otherwise, you're here, elbows are soft. Then we are going to rock to one hip, and then we're going to rock over to the other hip. So we did this on our back. This is a more challenging variation on the thing. I'm going to add the leg stretching if that's something you can manage. We're going to breathe in, breathe out. Legs can be extending, or you can just hold the bent leg position. And as always, there's a middle ground. Reach it out if you want. Okay? I'm going to ask you to give me 2 more and 1 more. And now we're just going to fold over and release. Roll on up. Hug the legs around to one side. Okay? Now, we're actually going to come up on our knee and our hand, and I realize that doesn't work for everyone, so I want to show you an option first. You'll be on the forearm. Your top leg will be extended. Your top arm will be over. Your elbow is pulling down towards your hip, but you can bring your leg in right over the bottom leg, like you want to kiss the two together, and then you're going to reach, look at the end of the mat. So the hand and the leg reach to opposite ends of the mat. The eye focus goes over the end of the mat, and then we're looking down towards the hip. Breathing in, breathing out. Option 1. Option 2, same thing from this position. It's a little bit more dynamic because, of course, you have to balance. Also more pressure on the arm, so you choose what makes sense to you. Let's do that. And we are going here and here. Reach it in, and I am not turning my leg out. It turns out a little bit, and I blame that on years of dancing, but we're trying not to be there. We're trying to be still pretty parallel. We've got 2 more, and 1 more, and hold here. Now all I want you to do is lift the arm and the leg up, and the leg's not lifting much above the hip, the arm's lifting right above the shoulder. We're doing 4 more of these. And 3 more. And 2 more. 1 more. You're going to hold that leg down and the arm up. Okay? Right from there, you're going to decide, is this enough? Do I feel like this is a good challenge for me? And if you do, hang out here. Think about engaging your abdominals each time you exhale. But if you're up for more, you're going to bring that bottom leg behind the front foot and do a little side plank for me. And then we're going to turn towards the mat, drop the knees, and sink back. Glide your elbows in enough to release the neck and shoulders, and find just a couple of moments of breathing in and breathing out and resting the low back. And the arms. Slowly curling yourself up. We'll come around to the other side. I'm going to remind you of the different variations that I showed. So I did not show, but you could be on your forearm. And this works best if you're going to do the floor version. So my foot is out, and I'm going to bring my knee in and my elbow. I'm looking towards the hip, I'm looking towards the end of the mat. Again, this could be here or here. So you choose what's going to be a good challenge and one that makes you feel like you're not going to fall right over on your face, because it is embarrassing to try and tell anybody how you bruised yourself while in quarantine, should you happen to see anyone. And I imagine, you know, there's FaceTime and all that jazz. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. 1 more. Hold this here. Leg up, arm up. Breathing, pulling the abs in. Now, I regularly have to think about my elbow joint, and I have to think of it for a couple of reasons. 1, I have the ability to hyperextend that joint, so I want to keep that arm firm, but not hyperextended, stressing the joint. And of course, 2, I have tennis elbow, so I have to be extra careful about that. All right, last one. Hold it here with the arm, here with the leg. You got it in you. Tuck that leg behind. Find that side plank. Keep it strong. Breathing in, breathing out, and again, breathing in, breathing out. releasing down, we're gonna turn and take that stretch. All right, rolling up through the spine. I'm actually gonna have you make sure you're in a position that you can see me well. So I've angled my mat, and this is gonna be a better choice for me to be able to see towards you and maybe for you to see what I'm doing. So we're gonna do a few what I call fun things. The first fun thing is going to be forearms on the mat. We're gonna walk the feet back and curl the toes. Now, your eye focus is right between your elbow joints, and you're working vigorously to keep your shoulders away from your ears, okay? Not a ton of effort on the core at the moment, a little awareness. Your knees, if they're not happy, should have maybe a towel or something beneath them, and we are going to glide forward towards the hands. So I'm looking just over my thumbs, glide back, look at the space between your elbows, glide forward, and glide back. And like we do in yoga, we're just pressing the palms together like they're at heart center, creating energy between the two hands and a little bit of a tripod for the body to rise over. Now, if that's good for you, you're gonna stay there. I'm gonna keep building, so you choose what you wanna add on to. You can come out, knees bend, sit back, and reach out. Knees bend, sit back. Reach out, okay? So either one of those, we're gonna do two more. And on the second one, you're just gonna stay out in that plank. So you're either kneeling plank or full plank on the elbows, pressing firmly through the arms, shoulders down. Give me about 3 more breaths. All right, release the knees, bring the big toes together, knees apart. Nestle down into the space between the legs. If this does not feel good to you, keep your legs parallel, okay? Arms, as always, can be forward, slightly bent, or resting with the hands under the forehead. We're gonna come all the way out onto our bellies. And we are going to rest one hand on the other, forehead on the backs of the hands. And I just want you to spend a moment breathing here. And so it's difficult to breathe in that position. And what I like to think about is using the lungs, filling them out to the sides on an inhale. And as you exhale, drawing the belly flesh in and letting the ribs slide towards one another with the space that you've created by drawing the abdominal muscles in. So inhale and exhale. And if you really feel your lower ribs sort of driving down into the floor, see if you can integrate that notion of pulling the belly flesh up towards the spine. Now you're going to keep that going for me, and I want you to make your focus about the sides of the neck and the tops of the shoulders. So as you breathe in, try not to let the shoulders come up closer to the earlobes. Think about opening the shoulders wide rather than lifting them up or down. And then exhale, letting them slide as the ribs do, a little bit towards one another. So you're just widening and narrowing your body, okay? All right. With that in mind, on your exhale, you tighten your abs, the ribs and lungs are opening to the side edges of the mat. You're gonna open your arms as well, okay? And when you open your arms on that inhale, you're gonna decide if you wanna lift up a little bit using the back extensors to look at the end of the mat, but not with your head, with your eyes, and then release down. So we're gonna breathe in, and we're gonna breathe out. You can either hover, breathe in, breathe out. You can lift up and look towards the end of the mat. Breathe in, breathe out, lift as high as you feel that you can. Toes stay down. You're gonna give me 2 more, please. Inhaling, exhaling, out and up. Inhaling, exhaling, out and up. Bringing your forearms to the mat, sliding your hands under your shoulders, squeezing your legs together and pressing up into a kneeling plank position. Okay, we're gonna be right here. Curl the toes if you want. I almost like doing that because it feels pretty nice on the soles of the foot to stretch. Slide your shoulders down, and you're just going to lower yourself as far as you can with no change. And here's what I mean. Almost always I get one of these, a head dive or a shoulder collapse. Sometimes both, and I'm not sure I can recreate that for you. So I want you to just figure out how far can I lower down and lift up and feel like my body alignment stays the same. My shoulders are down, my abs are in, my head is in line with my spine. It may or may not be a full push-up. You could, of course, do a traditional military style push-up, completely up to you. But instead of thinking of upper body, which of course it's upper body, think about engaging your core and using your breath so that you are inhaling, and as the elbows widen, you're breathing in, and when it gets hard, exhale, push up. Use the strength of that exhale and the tension in the core to lift you back up, not just the arm strength. So pretty much our body works together all the time. Yes, there's a prime mover, agonist, antagonist, all that good stuff. But the bottom line is you want to figure out where you can go and work well and build off of that. Let's make this next one your last one. And we're going to go ahead and sink back on curling those toes. Slowly coming back out. Okay, so we're going to do a few things from this position, and if your wrists get tired, I encourage you to sit back and give them a little bit of a stretch, okay? The other thing is to think about not only pressing through the heel of the hand, but the forehand and all of the fingertips so that you're really distributing the weight a little bit nicer. All right, so from there, let's go ahead and extend one leg. We'll curl the toes under and just press back into a single calf stretch. Good, you're gonna find that weight center. And from there, we will just lift that leg and lower that leg. That movement in and of itself challenges your balance, which of course integrates your core more effectively. We're gonna slide the opposite hand forward. That might be enough of a challenge for you today. Or you could lift the arm pretty much even with the side of the head, not past the ear. Leg is not past the hip. We're gonna do two more for me. And one more for me. I'm gonna ask you to hold it here. If you need to, just come down for a moment so you see what I'm doing and you're not trying to do it while you're balancing. We're gonna bring the elbow and the knee towards one another. You're looking right at your knee. I'm very flexed. My back is rounded, and then I'm gonna reach out to an extended spine. The breath is exhale, round, inhale, reach. Exhale, round, inhale, reach. Keep that going for me. I need about 3 more of those. And your goal is to just allow yourself to move here. I'm not doing anything that you need to watch, so that gives you the opportunity to totally internally focus. And then you're gonna finish that off and pull everything back for a stretch. All right, we're gonna take a detour on our way to the second side. Forearms are on the floor. We've got that prayer position with the arms. You can interlace your fingers if you wish. I prefer not, but that's entirely up to you. Your toes will curl, and we're going to do basically a downward facing dog from this position, which is sometimes called dolphins. So, push up, I focus right between the elbows, and then I'm going to slide down just like we did before in the kneeling plank. Look over my fingers and back between my elbows. So if kneeling plank is better for you, it's just this again. Elbows, so interesting, but I think my hands are also interesting, so I'm spending time with both. We're gonna go 4 more times. 3 more times. Now, if you're doing this from this position, it's a pike and a plank. And I have a good reason for showing you this, because the next variation is more demanding. So I'll give you 2 more. You've got 2 versions already, kneeling And on the elbows, let's sink it back. All right, so we come on back up, hands ever so slightly ahead of the shoulders, pressing through the whole hand, heel, forehand, and fingertips, okay? Reaching that second leg out, toes are curled. We lift and we lower the legs, set the shoulders, draw the abdominals in, feel the length at the back of the neck. Try to relax your jaw. Inhale through nose, exhale through mouth. Eye focus a little forward of your fingertips without the chin lifting. So once you've seen what I'm doing, see if you can relax. If you're ready, willing, and able, that opposite arm reaches forward. You test that balance, adding the arm to the leg if you got it. We're going to go about 4 more here, and 3, and 2, and 1 more. Hold it right there. Nice and slow. Elbow and knee come together. Look towards the knee. Exhale. Inhale. Reach it back out. Exhale. Inhale. Reach it out. Good. 4 more. Use the breath. And find your rest position. All right. Remember that pike to plank or kneeling version of the pike to plank. Those are your options. Take a quick stretch with those wrists. So this next move is sort of our grand finale of challenge, if you will. Okay? So we did a little bit more extension work today, a little bit more hip extension and back extension, spine extension, because we do a lot of flexing. So we're going to make life a little more exciting. You can watch and then do. I'm going to find my downward facing dog. So there I am. My tush is in the air. My ears are right between my arms, and I'm trying like crazy to keep my shoulders away from my earlobes. So a little bit of space right in there. Okay? Now from this position, I'm going to take one hand and reach as close to the outside of the opposite leg as I can. I'm going to come forward, and I might need my hands to be a slight bit forward. I'm going to slide out into a plank. This is tough. Push back, downward facing dog, reach to the outside of the opposite leg. Look forward, look back. Look forward, look back. Again, big challenge. Could just be pike to plank. I said it backwards. Or kneeling, pike to plank. Or you could do the grand finale of hips up with the arm reach. Oh, there's a hip up song jumping back into my head. Good. 1 more on each side. When you're equal on your 2 sides, we are going to put the knees down and then reach the leg furthest from me as far forward as you can. Hands come around. You be on your knuckles if that feels better to you. Shoulders glide away from the ears. Front of the hip feels long. If that feels like enough stretch, please stay there. Otherwise, let's come on up to the thigh. Gazing forward, breathing deep. Reaching that same side arm up if that's available to you. Now watch and then do, because I'm going to move away from you and I just want you to see where you're going. I'm going to go all the way. Rotating and reaching. Good. Bring that hand around, leg back. We'll go to the second side. Okay? So start there, gliding that back leg back, centering yourself, feeling confident that you've got your whole foot on the floor and you're really ready to move into a bigger position, which could be right here. You need more, you're going to raise that arm up. And always one side is tighter than the other. So if that's your tighter side, just breathe into it and let it lengthen. Take the hand, drop it down, arm goes back. Now you'll notice that I'm on an angle here because this gives you that little extra pinch in the upper trap, and this creates some space and allows the shoulder to sort of glide down into a more, a better aligned position. Let's put it that way. Swoop that leg around. We're gonna come to a seated position. Now, we're not quite done. I want you to bring your legs towards me, squeezing the legs together. Your heels are down, your toes are not, okay? Now from here, hands can be behind the thighs. We are, again, going to do that little bit of flexion. It's our last exercise. We're going to flex back and lift up. But if you can, you're going to do that with your prayer position arms. And then you're going to turn to one side, dropping the one elbow towards the floor. And not looking beyond that elbow. So right there, you're going to over twist the neck. Okay? But of course you know, there's always one more little piece that I want to add. And so that little piece is to lift the leg as you're coming in, and then switch, and come up, reach, and come up. Okay, we do one more with that leg, and now on this one, we'll end up lifting the same leg again. I personally like this better, but it feels different. So I like to explore the options. And here's the last one. We're going to reach those arms forward, right through the legs. You're going to reach those arms forward like you're trying to point your fingers towards me, and as soon as your legs straighten, you're going to lift your arms and bend the knees to come up. Exhale, round and reach. Inhale, lengthen and extend. 2 more times. Exhale, round and reach. Inhale, lengthen and extend. Last one. Exhale, round and reach. Stay right there. Reach up. Oh, reach down. Reach up. Reach down for no abdominals. Last 2. Last one. And come on up. Hands go back. Chest lifts up. Knees can soften as needed. Good. You're going to draw the soles of the feet in, taking hold of the ankles and just rocking side to side, letting your shoulders slide away from the ears.